Your place is so cool, man.
Thank you.
It's so excellent. Just your artistic touches and your creativity. It's just everywhere. So you just kind of
Clip
sink.
that. I'm
You just
kidding.
sort of, sink. Hi, baby. Hi. You just sort of sink down and just like want to meditate or something.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we were going for a little bit. Just a little bit of a pink paradise for my friends to come in. So, okay. So today's guest is somebody I'm genuinely so honored to have here. Not because she's an absolute icon, but because she's also been part of my real life for years now. I've known you for about maybe
God, yeah, well,
15, 20 years?
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck,
God,
that's
has
longer.
it really been that long? I think
don't
it
know.
has.
I don't think we're old enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And through my best friend, who's also your namesake, Virginia. And over that time, you have become somebody I deeply love and admire as both an artist and a human being to the world. She, friends, is the legendary Academy Award nominated actress from Sideways, as well as breathtaking performances in my favorite, Candyman, Dune, my other favorite, The Haunting in Connecticut.
Oh.
So many more. I mean, God, we'd be here all day. I think IMDb said 123 films you've been in.
Is that all?
That's it. I know.
Well,
Gotta pick up the pace, babe.
there's sometimes, I mean, most of what I do are small independent films
Right.
because for me that's where the writing is.
Well, God, and that last one you just did.
And so if you're a small independent film, sometimes they only shoot for a couple of weeks.
Right.
So there's
You
a lot
can
more
get
time
a
in
lot
the year.
in.
Yeah, so I have, and
Yeah.
I've tried to, slow that down a little bit because now I just feel like I'm like don't have that kind of crazy energy that I can just throw anywhere.
Yeah.
I've learned to be, not that I couldn't, but I don't want to. I want to save the energy for more, things that I don't know have more to do with my personal life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
So-
for me, I think that's getting older also.
Yes,
My
it is.
personal life becomes more and more sacred to me
Yeah.
as every year goes, you
Yeah.
know, and everything else matters less and less. And I think that just comes with age. I think it goes without saying. I'm just, for our audience who's listening, so I really can't think of a more perfect person to be here. This is our very first in-person episode.
It is?
It is. And
Oh,
for our
wow.
very first guest in studio for We're Still Here, Babe, Virginia fucking Madsen. Welcome to We're Still Here, Babe.
Wow,
Look
thank
at
you
you.
so much for having me.
Oh my God.
I'm surprised it seems like the whole thing would be on camera. And I think it's just so cool that you have it like in your home and
Yeah.
in such a informal and, it's a sensuous environment.
Thank you so
in,
much.
in so many ways. And
That means-
also you had really, really good cheese and meat platter, so I always appreciate that.
That's all them. That has nothing to do with me. But yeah, this, and I'm sure you can relate to this too. I mean, your home is like next level.
I think as women, we just keep shouldering the burden.
100%.
And you have to lighten the load,
100%.
to allow yourself to move through the next stage of life.
Yeah, I agree. I actually was talking about this the other day about why as women do we protect bad men, and like,
Oh, I don't know. I haven't done that.
Yeah,
I don't have enough time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, and yes.
But you know what? I think that there's a lot of personal reasons why we do the things we do when we fall in love with someone that we're not compatible with.
Yeah.
And we believe in that love, even if it is, given to the wrong person. And so, people can have lots of advice of who you should be with and what kind of person you should be with, especially when they love you.
Yeah.
But someone, you have to come to that decision on your own. And
100%.
But part of believing in him is, this was now when I was much, much younger, and my girlfriend and I realized that what we were doing is I mean really young, like in our 20s, is we were falling in love with their potential. Like, I know what he could really be, and I'm going to help him do that. And, they have to do that for themselves.
Yeah.
And yes, we can be supportive, but in a way, you're not letting them do it. You're what you imagine some guy should be. Like, what if he doesn't want to be that?
Yeah, it's a good point.
And I think when we enable and we try and like do everything, and you can label that whatever you want to label it, but you're actually not giving them a chance to grow.
Right.
By trying to do everything, you're not giving them enough credit for what that potential is.
Right.
So, it's kind of like, are you in love with someone who's really not the person?
Totally. And, I actually feel really grateful that I went through that divorce in my 40s, because I think had I been in my 30s, I wouldn't have been so confident to advocate for myself immediately.
Yeah.
I had spent so many years doing all of this deep self-work, just this like gut-wrenching. I had to get through all the layers of shit that was going on with me to figure out why. I have a semi-open recovery story, and I had to figure out why I was putting all this stuff in my body to not have to think here at all. And I had to do a lot of work in that same regard around men, because I had to figure out why I had this pattern in my lifetime.
I did too. I went through a long period of that, and I chose to be single, and I chose to be celibate for a really long period of time. It actually went on way longer than I wanted it to. But I was sort of like, well, what's my part in this?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing with these, these partners that do not suit me, that we don't match? And, but you like me, we're generous and we're loving and supportive, and sometimes that, in my case, was misplaced. And I, and young and lack of experience, and all I knew was that, I just love that man. And so I had to really, really spend a lot of really what turned out to be years sort of unearthing what was going on within myself. And like, am I really valuing myself? And what is it that I'm trying to build this house with the little fence and the little suburbia and the way that women are supposed to be as wife, in quotes. And it was a really outdated, it was some 1950s television version.
Yeah.
And my mother wasn't like that. A woman
No.
that I so greatly admire. And the women in my life, my big sister was not like that. Really subservient and, dinner on the table when you get home. I don't know where I got that, but that's what I fiercely defended, and thought that I could change some guy into that guy who comes home and sets his briefcase down and oh my goodness, poor guy. Like, I really, what was I thinking? Oh, and we'd have babies. As well, and I'd have my career as well.
Right, of course.
And I had this really neat, tidy version, and it was very hard for me to look at that, because I did want that. I wanted partnership. I wanted to raise children, and that is the part of my life that was not in order. That part of my personal life. So taking time to really look at the hard things, and that's something that I learned to continue doing over the years.
Right.
And so that when you recognize your shortcomings or your character defects becoming the default,
Right.
where you just, it's like a reflex where you behave badly or you, and why do those come up, and what is that really, really about?
Yeah.
And so that helped me to be a lot more clear. And so the relationship that I have now is free of a lot of past baggage, behavior, things that and he is the same. So we didn't have to walk in the door and set all that baggage down, because believe me, I had like a luggage cart behind me. I had the whole Louis Vuitton, like I was lugging it all in, and like setting up shop. But I, cleared that away.
Yeah.
Not that I don't run into those issues again and again, because it's part of who I am.
Yeah.
But I now know where it's coming from, and I recognize when it begins, when I start to stumble.
It's amazing.
So basically, I'm perfect now.
Give me the Give me the cliff notes later.
Someone's gonna have to play this for me in about 15 years, and I'll laugh at myself.
I'll do it. I'll play it for you in 15 years. I ask everybody this just because this is such a personal podcast, obviously, and I'm so lucky that I get to bring on people that are so personal to me. I know that's definitely not the norm. So I like to ask everybody, when was the first time you remember us meeting?
Oh.
And it might not even be when we actually met, but just kind of when, like...
Well, I heard about you from my niece, Virginia.
Yeah.
My namesake, so now I'm V.
That's right.
So she gets to take the name now.
Yeah.
And so I heard about you a lot. I mean, a lot. And you were really in the forefront of her life. And it was, things like my soulmate and my best friend, and so I was like, well, how come I don't get to meet her? Why can't I share in that? And so I just so many really, like, you were so supportive. You were a really important, like a pillar in her life. And it felt good knowing that you were there.
Yeah.
So you lived up to that when I finally met you.
I
sort of felt like I knew you in a way.
That's how I felt, yeah.
And so it was really easy.
And so many important, like, moments of my life, I feel like coincidentally I just end up somehow at your house. Like once a year or something, I just end up there doing a photo shoot or like something after some major event, and there's just something about driving up, and that skinny ass little thing you got to park your car in.
Oh,
There's
God,
barely
yeah.
any room, but it's just the comfort I feel when I just see your house,
I'm so glad.
it's talk about a beautiful
I like to have
house.
People over.
You do.
I've always liked to entertain.
You have good parties.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think, people relax.
Yes.
When they're there, and Nick is always cooking, and
Yes.
and I was always the one doing the cooking, so I've sort of lost my touch, and he's really
he's so
taken.
good.
He's so good.
He's so good, yeah.
And I think when there's cooking and there's food and there's music and candles, and your place is like that, people relax, and I want them to feel like they can sit anywhere, and
Yep.
They could sleep over if they wanted.
Yeah, we're so much like
and I'm
that
careful. I'm careful of who we invite over.
Of
I am
course.
protective of that space because it's my sanctuary.
sure.
It's Nick and I call it our tree house. And so it's a tree house.
We call ours our treehouse.
You do? Well, you see, there's not that much room to, you got to know the password to get in.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's private.
Yeah.
But our doors are open, and so that
Yeah.
people can feel like they're family
Yeah.
when they come over.
Yeah, we're like that too. That's something that's really important to us. And, we have a back guest room built out for family that comes to stay with. Yeah, all of that's so important. It's creating a home where people feel like they can be themselves.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful.
And
thing.
dogs are allowed. And
Yeah,
there's-
just everything.
and there's all these different places where people can hang out if we have a bigger group. There's all different conversation areas
Little
inside.
nooks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
little nooks inside and outside. And so even more of a reason to keep it private. And,
sure.
because there's no arguing allowed there. There's no strife. There should be no yelling, unless it's for joy, and
Happens.
there should be a real sense of serenity
Yeah.
in the house, and I think it is there, and so people can bring their friends, but it's just like, don't bring anyone who's gonna
Yeah.
disrupt the vibe, man.
Totally.
You know.
No disrupting the vibe, man. All right. You have had this beautiful career, like breathtaking, really. But I'm curious who you were before everybody else had their version of who you are in their head. Like, who was Virginia
Well-
Madsen before you were Virginia Madsen, you know?
Well, it depends on what movie they've seen, because I've played so many different kinds of characters. I think all of them have a kind of a fearsome nature, even if they're broken.
Right.
I think that I have a personal strength that comes through my performances, and I've often chosen things that are strange and weird movies because I, thought it was a unique experience. And
Yeah.
I never sort of ever put my eggs in one basket in my career. I did take a lot of chances on, this guy's going to make this really bizarre movie, and yeah, why not, and then you see it and you're like, oh, God, well, and because the only thing you can really depend on is making the movie,
Right.
your experience on the set.
Right.
Because once my job is done, I don't know what they're going to do to the movie. I don't know what they're going to do to my performance. I don't know what they're going to end up with. And so I learned really, really early on that when a film did not, really hard when a film was really, really good and it opens small and it disappears.
Right.
That was really disappointing for me. And so I learned really early on that you can't depend on the outcome. And that even very, very young, my personal life was most important. Maybe I didn't hustle as much as I
Wow.
could have. I wasn't competitive
Right.
in that way to, sort of climb to
Yeah.
the top, because I didn't think there was a top
Right.
in this. You're never, I don't care how high up you are, you're never there, because then the next movie determines. And so,
Yeah.
it's just also mixed up, and my focus needed to be on my family, my personal
Yeah.
space, my life, and then work.
Totally.
I don't know how I knew that, but I think maybe it's my Midwestern background, or being really fortunate enough to be very close to my family.
Yeah.
And I always, when I am speaking to younger actors, and I always tell them to it helps you to stay grounded, stay very close to your family. It may not be the family you're born to, but your given
Yeah.
family, your chosen family.
Yeah.
Keep those as the pillars on either side of your castle.
Totally.
And not to your detriment, but keep that as a source of strength.
Someone told me once that our friends are the universe's apologies for our families.
Oh my God. That's
Not
really
you, Sherry.
good. That's really good.
That's good, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a kid who comes from a single mom who, sadly was robbing me blind. And I would have had no way to know at 6 months old, at 10 years
Yeah.
old, at 15 years old, even at 20, And so I have really tried to look for family almost in every social circle I've been in since I'm a child. If I really have to look back, and your niece is one of the first friends of mine, really, where I was like, wow, we really can pick our own family in this lifetime,
Yeah.
and also somebody who showed me that people really will stay. They really will. Regardless if
that's really
they share blood
sweet.
with you or not.
That's really important at the same time.
Well, she must have learned
Because-
that from you, Guy. I mean,
yeah, we wouldn't let her
over
go.
here.
That's true.
Yeah, but she Yes and no. I mean, I was kind of raised by wolves, so sometimes I wonder, like, where did I kind of get all of the gumption? I don't know, But she had such incredible women around her, and she was able to pass that on to someone like me who didn't come from that kind of structure, and I've always been looking to like find that and fill that in so many places.
Because it is really important to be in the company of women, and that is something that it was always a surprise to me that there was women that I would meet that didn't like other women that where there was a cattiness that was not playful.
Yeah.
There was a competitive negativity in their nature. And I thought, oh, what a waste of time. And what a loss for them because they're alone. They're isolated.
Yeah.
And in my upbringing and in my adult life, the company of women it's a really strong bond. It's a really important place to exchange ideas and love.
Absolutely.
And boy, they'll tell you when you're going the wrong way.
100%.
And I have really good men friends too, and others in between. Because I think in your chosen family, sometimes there are people you're going to have to let go of. There are, as you age through life, there are going to be people that life takes them in a bad U-turn.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about that.
And
you can be as supportive as you can, but then it's that old adage of, the sand in the tight fist. It's not, you have to let them go and make their own mistakes.
And sometimes when people...
That's really hard.
It's so hard.
That's hard.
Sometimes when people show you who they are, you really have to believe them. And it's tough,
Oh, yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
So you've had these kind of waves in your career, right?
I certainly have. I certainly have.
What did you learn in the in-between moments? Even in like, when things were quieter, and I even thinking back to just those months where there's no work, we don't know when the next work is coming. Things are quiet.
The waiting is, there was a really significant time in my life where I was, my son was just about to start elementary school, and I had really gone through this transformational period. Physically, I was really torn up and really just kind of a basket case, and I didn't understand about postpartum. I was very isolated, and I didn't know any other women who had kids. And as I began to get my own self together, I realized that, I guess I call it God, but I believe that there is something that is much greater and much more powerful. I was raised with this idea of a higher power, God.
Okay.
So that's just my term, but I started really getting in contact with that strength of the universe. And it's like, wow, how presumptuous of you. You speak to the universe? Well, yes, I do.
Yeah.
And as my life sort of came together, my physical being started to really get strong, and I became athletic. I mean, and I was a dancer when I was just starting out, and, as part of being an actor, you learn movement and dance, and I was pretty good. And I started to come back to physical strength, and there was no work. And so it was, it was over 2 years of no work. And I realized that my career had become like a runaway train in the wrong direction, and so was I. And the only way that I could stop it, to change it, was to just run it off the rails and make my own path. And so I became the art teacher at my son's elementary school. What? Yeah, for third grade, for second and third grade. I was the art teacher. I was the art mom. And he was at a public school, so there was no funding for that. And one of the other moms, we just kind of scraped together. We're creative women. And
Wow.
it became the most creatively fulfilling thing that I have ever done, was to teach these kids about art.
How old?
Third grade. Yeah,
Wow.
third,
Oh,
second and third grade,
God.
so 7, 8. And it was just so full of joy.
Yeah.
So that when I did go back to work, and I was so afraid. I mean, my house went into foreclosure at one point. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
And I did not have good judgment when it came to money. But it ran out,
Yeah.
nevertheless. And so after I was grounded and had this incredible experience with, teaching, I I got sideways. And boy,
Okay.
was that worth the wait, because
Yeah.
the other thing about actors is like you must prepare to be called upon. Because if you believe in yourself and you put the work in on yourself, you will be called upon. And you can't just suddenly get your shit together in a week. You got to be together, and it will draw in that positive energy.
Yeah.
It builds momentum. So when I, go to audition, because I was also going to acting school. I mean, I was also, coaching and going to classes and doing scene study. And I started all over
Wow.
and rebuilt. And so, by the time I met Alexander Payne, I was ready and I was chill. I don't know how I got, but all those things, so that I was ready to go through that and also ready to then receive success.
Wow, that's
know.
amazing.
And then I kind of fell apart again, like years later.
Like any good
Well,
actress does.
like you said, it comes in waves.
Yeah.
And each time you get sucked under again, you can't struggle your way out.
Yeah.
You have to relax and float, and then find your way back to shore.
I love that. I love that. Anyone that knows me knows I'm like very into astrology. I'm very into the planets. I know everything that's going on with them at any given time. And I really truly believe that whatever we believe in is what believes back in us. And I'm like
that's
you.
good.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean I do call it God, but also I refer to it as universe so much because
So do I.
because it freaks people out. And that's fine,
Yeah.
But it's anything bigger than us that helps us for just a second understand we're not like the biggest thing in the world, and it squashes ego just long enough to like come back down to earth,
Yeah.
And so while we're on the subject of sideways, first of all, I'm curious, when you went into that role, that film really, did you guys know?
No.
No.
Well, I didn't. I mean, I knew that this was going to be a good
You knew
film.
it was special.
Yeah, I knew that it was special. I knew that it was really good. I didn't go into it knowing that it was a comedy, because I seriously, I read it, I had a very serious point of view, and I was looking at it more like About Schmidt, which was his other films, where there was comedy in those films, but like it was really intense. And I thought, wow, this script is about alcoholism, and these guys are just making it terrible. They're just leaving wreckage in their wake, and it was this, and then I filmed a little, and then I went back home, and then I came back up to the location, and I saw Paul and Thomas doing the scene where he's chasing Miles down the hill after he's dumped the spit bucket all over himself.
Yeah.
And their body language and how funny they were. And I saw the dynamic between the two of them and realized, oh, that's the movie I'm in.
Wow.
Oh, okay, all right. I didn't have to do the comedy, which I didn't know much about. But I got that it was more three-dimensional. It was so much more than I realized, because by that time, the relationship had really bloomed, all of the crew was, really knew each other, and there was this really relaxed, easy atmosphere on the set. So there was no pressure on me.
So it's so interesting you use the word easy, because obviously I just watched Sideways again recently. And holy fuck, are you just staggering? And I mean, it's first of all, when you come on screen, sometimes I question if I'm straight or not.
Why, thank you.
No, seriously, you're just so there's just, man, you were born to be a movie star for sure. You have such an impact. It grabs a hold, and sorry to all the Sideways fans. It's an incredible, just beautiful movie. It's not even my favorite movie of yours, but it's such a significant one that people probably want to know.
It's just
so
a
much about
film. Everything about it. It's a perfect film in all the departments.
Agreed.
And it really has. That's why it had such a wide audience.
Yeah.
I think they were all surprised when we got a very young audience that started, catching on to the film. But the atmosphere on that set was really, really conducive to everyone's creativity, in front of the camera, behind the camera. There was this really relaxed, easygoing. I mean, we would wrap early some days. They had a really long shooting schedule, certainly more money than any film I'd worked on, especially the tiny ones that I'd been making. But this is, Alexander is really a leader. He really has, he seems like he's quiet and relaxed, but everything is planned. Everything is all I had to worry about was my job.
Wow.
All I had to do was just show up. And when the writing is that beautiful, you really don't have to, add anything. You just have to get out of the way of the script, and don't try and add to it. Just say it. Say the lines. It's like poetry. It'll sing on its own.
I feel like I'm getting a master class.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but when the writing is not good,
right?
Boy,
then it's so hard.
Gotta find some way to get through it.
Oh my God.
And there's no yelling. I mean, I just don't understand when there's yelling on the set, and people are upset when they have to be in character, and it's like, oh, please, just this.
Right.
We are not doing brain surgery here, okay? Just we're making a movie, you guys. This should not be this serious.
It's so funny. I say that to a lot of my actor friends too. Like when we do appearances, or I'm like, you guys, none of this is that serious. Everyone has to relax. You got to come back down to ground here, guys.
You do not have to bleed in order to emote on camera.
Yeah.
Save that, people, oh God, I used to do that too, off camera, concentrating and really getting into character. And it was and there was a really amazing person that said, save it for the camera. Because all that energy you're putting out, walking around in character and being in character, you're expending all of that energy that you need to put down the barrel. You know what I mean? You need to put that into the camera for the audience, and holding it in and then letting it go when they call action is something you have to learn how to do.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, a better life for everyone.
I love that. Maya has one of the rare qualities in the film where she feels emotionally mature without becoming cynical. And to what you were saying just about how easy it felt on the set, that was how it felt like the very first frame of you in Sideways. It just felt so easy. There was something about your performance that felt so effortless and easy to me. As an actor also, when I watch performances, it's one of the first things I think kind of just instinctually pick up on is if something feels easy for me or not as a performance. And
but we don't often find characters that are close to us.
No, definitely not. She's a rare character. So my question is, was there a moment during filming where you realized Maya could have easily become like a fantasy woman archetype, as opposed to what you did to consciously keep her human and grounded instead?
Well, I think that was really the director's job. I mean,
Okay.
I think it was, I will bring whatever I bring of Virginia /
Right.
Maya to that role, and it was just exactly I had exactly what he wanted. And so, yes, maybe they could have it would physically done something to where I would look.
No, I think my question was because
But-
you looked so beautiful. Like, were you conscious of that at all, I guess, during shooting and stuff, that you didn't want your role to be defined in that way, that there was more of a humanness?
Well, I didn't have to wear makeup, which meant
What?
I got to.
Excuse me?
I got to sleep.
come
I got to
on.
sleep longer in the morning.
Get outta here.
He hates makeup. He does not want. He wants
Wow.
people to look how
Like
they
themselves,
look.
sure.
And yes, I was very
Beautiful.
healthy at that time, so I looked really good. But I did tell him that when they go on the date, I said, "You've got to let me have a little powder. You got to let me have mascara, because if a lady goes on a date,
She puts her
she's
mascara
going to
on.
do something."
That's
You know,
right.
even Maya.
That's right.
And he, and he had to like think about it for a minute, and he was like, "Well, okay." So I got to where
You got your mascara?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But it really is because he just wanted people to be who they were. He didn't want anything to stand between the person and the camera, and so it was very hard for the makeup woman, because the makeup artist was like, "Can I just?" He just has, just one thing, and he was
nothing?
like, "No."
No, wow.
So she was there with lots of products for us afterwards, you know what I mean? So that we slept well, and
Oh my
and
God.
so then because of that, it was my job to sleep well. It was my job to really take care
Take
of
care of yourself.
so that I was healthy,
Right.
and which you have to do anyway, because
Yeah.
and that becomes even more important as I get older, because, when I was much younger, if I didn't sleep all night and I felt, you can rally.
Sure.
But now, like in my 60s, I don't rally, man.
Right.
Like maybe
no
if
more
there's
rallying.
yeah, I mean if
Yeah,
there's
we're
an
done.
emergency, okay, well,
Sure.
I can. But if I got to get up because listen, if you have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning
For call, yeah, your call time, sure.
there are things that one must do.
Like a big bowl of ice?
Yes, like I don't roll out of bed and just go to set, because another part of my responsibility, I think, as an actor, is that when I go to set, I'm awake. I'm ready. I can cheer up, I can cheer on the crowd, and I can, if I walked in and like did my rehearsal, like, like this, give me some coffee. I mean,
I've never heard that before.
but if I get there and I've got my lines, I'm
Yeah.
like ready to go.
Yeah.
The people around me will get up too. And
lead by example.
Because I expect all those people to be carrying that equipment.
Right.
I don't want anyone dragging ass in the morning, because
Right.
I had to get up.
Yep.
So, like, it's a team. Come on, let's get
Yeah.
it together. And so
Yeah.
I take that really seriously, and it helps. And so we have to do a lot besides our, taking care of our skin. We have to take care of
The
body,
insides.
mind, and spirit.
Yeah.
To be ready for work.
Right. Why do you think conversations like this, just honest ones about fame, maybe the what's the word I'm thinking of? The misunderstanding, I suppose, of fame and what it can look like. The absolute misunderstanding that actors don't seem to have any issues with mental health, or
there is a
or there's no
perception.
financial
Yeah.
fear, or
I
there's
mean-
all of these things. And so why do you think right now it's important for women, humans really, to be willing and open to have conversations about mental health?
Oh, because it's long overdue. I am glad that it's being talked about more. There is a perception that what we do, I think that because people think like anybody can be on camera now,
Right.
and there's a perception that we all must be very wealthy.
Yep.
It's like, well, if you were unemployed for most of the year, and then you make a nice windfall, you get a job,
Yep.
but you're always hustling.
Yeah.
You're always hustling, and that side of it really wears on your spirit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the hustling and all the things that you have to contend with when you're not on the job.
Right.
And 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 as I was, like really feeling age for the first time and really physically, just feeling sick, just not recovering from COVID. I had long COVID
I remember.
and brain fog, and like it was like I just felt like I was just thrown against the wall and I was just laying there in a heap. And I was like, how did I get there?
Right.
And I felt so isolated, and so what do I do? And so like that time before, I knew that this was another time where there had to be change. That I'm not okay, man. And I'm not okay in a lot of ways. And I knew it. I knew it. But then what do you do? So, okay, I did the same thing again. You pick yourself up and you take one step at a time and you begin to get well. And with that comes physically well. Physical strength started to come back.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of support around me, though, because I hadn't pushed people away.
Right.
So I had, I had my family. You were there, and my husband was there, and we both like changed things in a big major way.
You did.
Because the thing is, I had a trainer back during that last time when I said I got athletic, and he was 78 years old.
The
And
trainer was?
Yeah, and he was kind of
Oh
like
my God.
Popeye. He looked like, his arms were always out like this, and he was like, no pain, no gain. And he was really all like the old-timey sayings. But he said one thing where he said, you can't stay the same.
Yeah.
And he would always do this. And I'd be like, yeah, I thought it was like a cool peace sign, And he said, no, this is, you can't stay here. You're either going to go up or you're going to go straight down. You can't stay the same, so choose. And I was like, Joe, his name was Joe. And he was like, yeah, you can't stay the same, Virginia. Come on, get up. and he talked to me a lot about nutrition. And so I started remembering old Joe and started listening to people who were really helping me. And I started to reconnect with the universe, and reconnect with prayer and meditation, and, a whole, group of family that, helped me to be grounded again and start picking up these pieces and discarding what I didn't really need.
Right.
What was not serving me anymore, behavior that was not serving me anymore. And just, it started to work. That momentum again, and everything started rolling, and I have not stopped.
Yeah.
And it's always hard to do that when you want to make a really big change in your life, and because the other thing is, being older, it really showed. And I don't mean the beauty aspect. I mean, yes, that was starting. I mean, really, you could see it on my face, like people knew that I was not well. And a lot of people that you don't know very well are not really kind about that,
Yeah.
And
What a world we live in.
they're really kind when you look great for your age. They're really kind when you're being successful and but they're not so much. I don't know why we're like that as to strangers.
Yeah.
We're more condemning I find. But anyway, besides, I'm not worried about them. But when I started to, it really was apparent that my life was sort of grinding to, not to a halt, but it was just digging down further and further. And I have enough awareness of myself to know that it could not go on. You know, that I had to make some really, really serious changes, little by little by little. And because I'll put a lot of pressure on myself, you know, but I know that there's no quick fix. There's no, like, I'm not going to go to a spin class and feel like a new human being. I know that there's a lot that goes into it, and it doesn't happen in a week. And this happens like over days and weeks and months and years. But I'm glad it happened because I was riding high, you know, and then I wasn't. It was all really fun till it wasn't, you know. And
Usually how it goes.
that's, you know, and I could feel myself getting better. I knew that I was, because I think my mom told me this, that, you know, when you're on the wrong path, it's really obvious, you
Right,
know.
yeah.
It's really hard. Like, you're running over bumps and you're knocking into things. Like, you're on the wrong road,
Right.
girl.
Yeah. You
When you-
feel it.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
yes.
look for an alternate route. My mom said if all doors are closed, open the window, you know, or bust down that wall, go
Yeah.
that way,
Yeah.
and you know,
Go.
and so that's what I'm doing. That's not what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did, but that's what I'm doing. I
love
You
that
know, and
so
you know
much.
about that, and
Yeah.
you know, and because
tough.
I'm lucky that I don't have toxic people in my
Mm-hmm.
life. That was, I think, when I was much, much younger.
Right.
It was easier to have
Right.
toxic people around.
Sure. Yeah. You have just even thinking of some of the just immediate people you have in your life around you, just
Yeah.
incredible.
You can choose. You can make better choices when
Yeah.
you get older, just
Yeah.
from having so much experience.
Right.
That I'm like, nah, I think that one, no, I'm not gonna hang out with that person.
Yeah.
No, I know where that's going.
Yeah.
You know.
For sure. What has been the most challenging role for you, would you say, in your acting career? And how did that experience shape you or even reshape you, really, as an artist?
Oh God, I got to readjust for that one. Oh God.
Take a 5-minute break if you want.
I did this movie, wonderful film. Nicola Peltz directed this film called Lola. And she was wonderful. I loved that she was, you know, a woman director. She wrote this. She believed in this. She got the financing. And she was really good. I hope that she would direct me in something else. But I'm an abusive parent. And I'm abusive to her, and I'm abusive to, she's my daughter in the film. And I have a 10-year-old, and he was a wonderful little actor. He just like went with it. But, you know, I had to be abusive to him, and at one point physically, and we really worked it out. Like, he thought he was gonna, yeah, like he was a stunt man, you know, like I showed him how to, you know, because I have to strangle him, I have to
Right.
push him around. So we showed him exactly how he was going to be the one that did the throwing, and I would just, you know,
Yeah.
pretend. But this young boy was a really, really fine actor. He was like one of those prodigy
Yeah.
kids, and, you know, he's looking up at me with crying, "I'm sorry, Mommy." And he was just, and I completely, you know, I don't think I should have done that role because that's not in me. And it really shook me up. It was very, very hard, and I had to look at her and like call her trash, and I did a great job in this role. It was a really good performance.
Know what we're watching tonight.
It's really good because the movie is also about someone who crashes and burns and recovers.
Yeah. But it affected you so deeply.
Yeah,
How long for after that?
I just didn't go back to work for about 6 or 7 months. I was
Really?
really, really messed up from doing that role. And I prided myself on the fact that I don't take my work home with me. You know, I leave it on the set. I know how to do that. And I was really, really shaken, and physically, mentally, and also I wasn't really well. I wasn't really strong physically anyway, and it really tore me up to find that ugliness in myself. And I was like, I'm not going to play the abusive person anymore.
Wow.
I'm not going to play that kind of role. I like playing a villain. Yeah. I like being the bad guy.
Yeah.
But
not that.
No, not with a child.
Right.
He was safe and everything.
Of course.
But that took too much out of me, and because I experienced it like too deeply. And it was really hurtful, and the actor was fine, and she was fine, but I was like, can I just hug you at the end of the day? And I was like, Nick had to come and pick me up because I couldn't drive. I mean, oh my God, how dramatic.
But
I was very dramatic about it, I admit.
But you're also like an artist through and through. You really are. So I can understand how, and I'm similar in nature, to where it's, and in the work that I do in real life even, to where I've had to have some of those moments, not even as an actor, but as a human, where I'm like, what are you fucking doing? You're going to die. Like, stop it, and you're just like, oh, I don't feel good about that at all.
Yeah. I that's not an area that I want to explore creatively.
Yeah.
That's just not something that that was the hardest thing that I ever had to do.
I would have never imagined that answer. So everything after that, it was just like your true villain roles, your Virginia villain roles.
Yeah, see, those are fun. those are fun
yeah.
when you get to be the bad guy.
What was your favorite villain role, would you say?
Oh, I loved playing this woman named Hook Stratton in Designated Survivor. And they didn't continue my role, but I was he was the liberal Democrat, suddenly found himself president of the United States. And I was more qualified for the job, and I was the Republican. And we were going to, we were aiming to go to a place where he and I would debate. And now that was a different time. People are really contentious, much more so now.
Yeah.
But I really had a lot to say. It was a way for an audience to hear debate, which we don't hear debate anymore. Now people are just yelling at each other. Yep. And I loved how clever she was, and they were putting her more in a position of villain. I don't say she was villain because she was a Republican. But
no, I know.
She was going to be quite conniving.
Yes.
And I was going in that direction of really going to be undermining him. And Kiefer Sutherland was like, sort of, playing Mr. Good Guy and doing all the right things for the world. And I was going, really? I really wanted to continue because I just knew that I could just needle him, and not him, but his character.
Totally,
and that would have been really fun to continue with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so as we wrap up, just a couple more questions. I'm interested to know: are there types of roles or stories that you feel are still underrepresented?
Yeah, friendships.
Ooh.
I feel that this is for not just for women, but I don't see real friendship depictions of friendship,
like a best friend movie.
And with women, I don't know what, but it seems to me that they sit around they each have a tub of ice cream, and they're hanging out together and they're eating their ice cream, and then they get really tearful, and then at the end of but no matter how deep it gets, at the end of the scene they go every scene really as they go, I know, and I love you too. It's always, it turns, I don't,
You're
maybe
like, this
that
is not it though. Yeah,
no,
it's not.
I don't see, and I really don't see that with with men. I don't see the friendships with men on screen. Like, do you remember that movie Master and Commander? And that is Paul Bettany and Russell Crowe. And that movie, it's, yes, big epic ships and the storms and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But this is I think that's the last time I saw a really strong friendship
gonna ask you,
between
what's the last
two
one?
men who are in these leadership
Wow.
positions. And I know there are other examples, but I think I chose that one because it's like in a big action thing.
Yeah.
Some movies, there's not room for,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff like that. But I feel like having more women writers would help. More women directors would help. Because it's hard to find in-depth relationships in scripts. Because you don't need a volume to tell a story.
Right.
A lot can be said with very little time.
That's right.
And I'm just not seeing that written enough. And it's so much a part of my life that, like this kind of conversation with you and I, the kind of connection that we have and how we listen to one another, I don't find that on screen most of the
agree.
time.
And, and then just the real life female friendship stories of like, even, how Virginia had to come, move in with me basically for a while when I
Yeah.
was going through my stuff, and just, those stories of what the lengths women really do go to for each
Yeah.
other. Those are such important
And
stories.
we can grow with one another. When one's down, the other helps.
Yeah.
And I think that our relationships evolve,
Yes.
and we, hold each other up. Sometimes we as much as we have joy, we can go through sorrow, but we hear each other.
Yeah.
We have open dialogue and communication that is not just about painting our nails, although I forgot to do that. Maybe we'll do that afterwards. Oh my God. And I did not just say that.
And you and I are so far from those kinds of women, we're just...
Most women are far from that,
Yeah, but
yes,
they're represented so dumb-ish,
yes,
know?
and very superficial.
Right, right. Some of the conversations we've had, so far from superficial, truly,
Yeah.
and some of my favorite moments in life, just these deep conversations you can have with your girlfriends that aren't just about painting your nails and all of the things, but about like what's really going on in here so we can get some of it out and not have to hold it all ourselves, And I always say, like, for as many men that have broken my heart in my lifetime, truly, there's always been a woman there to pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's, how I feel like blessed with that.
Me too, yeah.
Knowing that, my big sister is there. She may be miles away. She's here with me today.
She's here.
But, we have a bond that can cross that distance. And we can rely on each other in the worst of times, but also someone to say, hey, you shouldn't do that anymore. You're not treating yourself right.
Right.
And truth. We can speak the truth to one another, and it's it's
A
really
sister is a
important part of
best
my-
friend in a way that is
Yes.
very different to explain unless you understand it. I have a sister also, as you know, and I'm adopted, so I just found her less than 10 years. Almost, we're coming up on 10 years now. But yeah, the connection with a sister is such a different thing that I had never experienced until, I found mine. And, we're going through a really sad thing in our family right now, but the pain is so palpable. I can feel it in another state, just like you were saying when, you share that type of a connection with somebody.
Yeah.
And then also I have found so many incredible sisters through my friends.
Yeah, the chosen family.
The chosen family
again,
sisters and all of that.
And we have too,
Yeah.
what my family has gone through, and
Right.
and my sister is the only one that knows what it's like to lose my brother.
Oh, wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
She's the only other person in the world
Yeah.
that knows what it's like to lose her. Wow.
And it's there, you know, the closeness of siblings does not always exist in families.
Right.
When that's a contentious relationship, that's really, really hard.
Yeah.
I think I'm so glad that you guys somehow you found each
Crazy.
other.
I know. It's meant to. It's kismet.
It's working.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really something.
It's wild.
It's very unusual, isn't it? Don't you think?
It's very unusual
Yeah.
you hear so many stories about, like, oh, I met my family and they were so weird and I don't really want anything to do with them.
I suppose you won't know what the background is, or
And
did you find that you like have and what's the age difference? She older or younger than you?
she's younger. She's 32.
Do you have any traits that are?
We're twins. We're twins.
I didn't know that.
No, I mean, we're not like actually twins, but we're twins.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I was like, you left out that part.
Well, I wish it was
Wow.
32.
But
I
you
should
have
just
a
went
lot
with
of
that.
similar. You, but you have
No,
the
yes,
Wow.
we're twins. It's wild.
Oh, that's so interesting.
The first time she came out, that when I met her, Virginia was with me, of course, and her and Evan were just, blown away. Like, we're looking at like a mini Natanya, which is so crazy. And again,
Wow.
growing up single child, from a single parent household,
Yeah.
mom robs you blind. Just I have such a typical child star story,
but much different, and yeah, I
but
mean,
just by the time I'm 18, everything's gone. But finding a family at 35 years old in life is really wild. To learn how to be someone's sister at 35 and someone's granddaughter and someone's cousin and someone's...
maybe if it had happened earlier, you would have missed that.
Oh, well, if it
You
had
know?
happened earlier, I would have been drunk.
Oh,
I would have really missed it.
Yeah.
And they certainly wouldn't have wanted me around in the way that they want me around.
yeah.
I would have been
think
like,
when-
oh, she
Yeah,
was
there-
weird.
because
That's who
we
I would
don't-
have been.
I think when we're down that road, it's really hard for anyone to share anything with us. When my life was so clouded, there's such a confusion that, why is everything going wrong?
Right.
It's like, it's not anybody else's fault. It's not even yours. Like, just be nice to yourself. Like, look within, ask for help, and it makes you ready to heal. If you look within, ask for help, it makes you ready to heal and find the people that will help you get there. And then you found her, like, at this period in your life that's your life right now is so rich and so full, and you have so much now that you can give.
Right.
That I see you giving, but you would not have been able to show that before.
And if I didn't really truly believe in the universe's timing, I most certainly have never questioned it since. Especially my sister Simone. So
That's, you know what, that's a good point too, is
Yeah.
that things arrive when they're supposed to.
at the second they're supposed
Yeah.
to, not a second early or late. And, thank God. Thank God for that, because it's been really the only way I've been able, or the universe, I suppose, has been able to protect me from myself in so many egregious ways. And I'm sure you can relate to that as well,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's hard to look at what we do to ourselves. It's hard to realize that, because then I'm just blaming myself, like, oh, look what you made of yourself. Look what you, and instead of just looking at everything that I had done wrong, I was looking at, well, how did I get there? How did I get so sick?
Right.
And when I realized that, I was already on the road to getting better,
Right.
to getting stronger.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was, and then the things that have come into my life.
I know. It's been
now,
wild to watch. Yeah.
It's really incredible.
Yeah.
That how transformational that can be. And it's I'm really, really grateful to and I'm allowing myself to receive it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like a thing that I do like every day. You know, it is that one day at a time thing that you know, when you wake, you face the day with intention, you know, whether it's meditation, writing, you know, in whatever your way of healing, you know, the groups that I am a part of that hold me up and keep me on a spiritual course. That's been really transformational.
Wow.
You know?
All right. Last question. Okay.
I could talk to you for days.
Ditto.
But we do, yeah.
We'll do that.
Oh, yeah.
When you hear the phrase, "We're still here, babe," what does that mean to you? What does that make you think of?
Well, I liked that you called it that because it's kind of, this is one of the gifts that comes with age, is that you're like, wow, I'm still here.
I'm still fucking here.
But I like that we're still here. We're still here. You know?
Right.
We're still here, man. Still doing it. Like I'm still, and how my life has changed in the last couple of years, to know that I continue to evolve, continue to change, nothing stops when you turn 60, you know, and life keeps on. If you're lucky, you get to be old. So how are you? What kind of old lady am I going to be?
Right.
And so you got to start now. And so it's kind of part of what I thought. We're still here, babe. It's like, right on.
I love that.
That's what I felt when I heard the name. Right on.
I love that. I can see you in like just saying that right now at like in your 30s, 40s at like the Canyon store or something. Just like, right on, man. Like, going back out.
Yeah.
We're still here, babe.
We're still here, babe.
We're still here, babe. Thank you so much for doing this, and
thank you for asking me.
Yeah, I just think
it's wonderful. It's wonderful to just reflect on how awesome we are.
It's the best. Well, you have such
now let's have some ice cream and paint our toenails.
Let's do it. Let's go. You have such an incredible story as a human. You know, not just even as an artist, just as a human being, and. Yeah, so important.
I'm really glad that I didn't miss your story in my life. Thank you for being my friend.
Thank you for being my friend. Don't make me cry. Cut!